To download the database, I go on the internet. I was going to show you how to use the database and record it while I'm showing you, so you can ask questions, and then after we're done, then I'll be able to use that recording to put online for other people who want to use it.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that works for me. And are you already recording?
Yeah.
Perfect. And do you have a resistance to having this being like a conversation, sort of like a Q about kind of current necessity, or like what I'm seeing, like holy shit, like I mean, like, would you be interested in having that as a conversation, or do you want it just to be like you describing and telling the creating this description?
Let's have a conversation.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so I would like to share what's happening right now at the space where I'm at, that I'm seeing, like, holy shit, like this database is really, I mean, because I've been seeing your database for the last few years that you've been showing me, and really like all the different parts, and I'm gonna say what I think it is, and it's what I think it is a repository of seeds and plants and different things that things that you can grow with a bunch of information attached to it, like when you can grow it, when to plant the seeds, how much to water it, what kind of climate it needs, what is the temperature that it needs, and when does it yield fruits or flowers, when to transplant it, and also along the property, and it has this is like one part of the database. The database is the kind of like how to use, like using that database. And this part about how to use the database is like, okay, like you have, and these are the plants that you have, and then you get this like report of what you on a certain day, or in the next week, or in the next month. And is that accurate? Is that like?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Cool. And the part that I didn't say is that it's for years now, like since you went to university or to college to study horticulture, and you started seeing the necessity for this, then, and you've been cultivating the database as something that can help farmers and gardeners automate their process with the help of technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. I think it cut off for a little bit, but the place where I'm working is doing everything. It's like one person who is holding all of this information, and it's holding her head, and she's getting to an older age, and there's no replacement. There is nobody. Okay, there is other farmers, my common replacer, but there's also written notes in lots of notebooks, and yeah, like the day to day is pretty much like, okay, like what's up for today, and it's all kind of like improve mastery of how to work with the plants. So I see the database being something like that is systematic, where there is no things that is just because I forgot, or the person who is in charge forgot to say, oh, we gotta plant basil right now. And it's like the system. This is what I want to grow. Space that I have. What do I do today? Something like that. So with that being said, like I want to see where is the database at, and how yeah, where is the database at, and how can I start bringing this possibility close to being something that we can use in the place where I'm working right now, and potentially in many other places where I will work or where other people will work.
If you can see the screen, you'll see that I've been opening the database, and it took a long time for it to open. I finally got it open now. So the window that
I can see it.
the window you can see on the right, this is the plots table. So in this table we can add a plot. So this will be ALM farm. And that's all we do in this table, is just to add a plot. So now there's a plot called ALM farm in the database. Then up at the top of that table, you can see here there are 3 different plots that are listed, and those plots are the ones that are going to be used to create a report. So on the left screen there's this button called reports, and these reports are what we use to look at the data that's already in the database. And the most interesting one is the annual cultivation practices. I made the database into 2 parts for keeping track of. One is the growers, so these are the nurseries, and the other one is the plots. So these are people that aren't necessarily selling their stuff. And the plot annual cultivation practices is a report that will show us what we have to do and when we have to do it throughout the year, and it's organized by the end date, because if we miss the end date, then we have to wait till next year. So that's the most important date, and then the next organization, or the next it's not called an organization, there's a special word for it, not a filter, but a sort. Yeah, the next sort is by the start date. Anyways, so in the plot one, I'm going to delete some of my clients, like Great 2-for-1 Pizza. We don't need to see that, so I'm going to delete it. And Rainbow Kitchen, I'm going to delete that one. And then Soup Family Resources, I'll delete that one. So now in the plots table, the only one is 6411 Souk Road. That's here. I'm going to close this window, and I'm going to go back to the forms here, and I'm going to show you what plants are, how to add plants. So it's the palette, the plant palette is the step 3. I'm going to open up the plant palette. And this is going to show a list of plants that I've already chosen for my design here at 6411 Souk Road.
Okay, so okay, so I see it's loading, and this is all running on. I see that it's running on LibreOffice base. It's like open source software. Is it like kind of like an Excel or Google Sheet?
It's more like Microsoft Access.
Like Access, okay.
Yeah.
So
it's still kind of in beta, because, for example, I've got this error message coming up. I'm going to click OK. It's still going to work. So.
Alright, so this is kind of like the beta version of it. Like it's still it's a bit overwhelming, like from what I've seen. And
yeah.
One of the things that I would like me as a programmer, I can kind of understand it, and I can see the connection between the databases and the plot and all of the hierarchy of the network of the data, and yeah, some of the things that I how do you make this super usable for somebody download this work with this.
Yeah, somebody, I think it will take more work.
Yeah.
It will take improvement, and I work on it when I can, as much as I can. And it's open source, so everything is available for people to download and improve on. And I'm kind of hoping that one day somebody's going to see it and be like, oh, this is cool, and they're going to have the skills to be able to improve it. And then that will be the first time that somebody else has made improvements. And I guess with all open source projects, they're usually created by a whole bunch of people working together, which I've never done and I don't know how to do. So as it is, you can see this is all the plants that I have chosen, and I want to move it over. Usually there's a slider bar at the bottom, but I don't see it right now. Maybe if I resize this window, or if I hold shift. There's definitely some kinks to work out. So here I go to the bottom of this list, and I can add a plant with the drop down box listed by Latin name or by common name. So
I can't see your screen anymore.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay.
I mean, I see it. Okay, I see it now.
Because I have two screens, and I think you're only seeing the screen that's on the right. Okay. So here, when I go to push this button to go to the last one, I can add a new plant by Latin name or by common name. So let's say beans. I think in the database it's called it might be a pole bean, or it might be a runner bean. Runner bean. Oops, try again. Runner bean, and I hit enter. Then it puts the Latin name in here, Phaseolus cocineus, and runner bean. And then I'm currently working on a different version so that I'll be able to organize everything into beds. Anyways, that's not done yet. So this is how you add a plant. I just showed you how to add a plant. Then once all of the plants are added, do you want to save your changes? I'm going to click yes, save changes. Once all the plants have been added, then I'll go to the report. And I want the plot annual cultivation practices. So this one is going to show me the cultivation practices for the whole year, and it's organized, sorted by the end date first. This one is probably a lot more practical for use. This is today's cultivation practices. It's also sorted by the end date first. So I'm actually going to show you this one, today's cultivation practices, because to see the cultivation practice of all of those hundreds of plants is overwhelming. But if we can see only what we have to do today, then we can prioritize. So I double click that, and the report is generated as a PDF. So here we can see the end date is January, February, March, April, May. This is May 14th. That's the end day for sowing zucchinis indoors in a rich soil. And there's a little bit of instructions.
Wow.
So
if you wanted to grow zucchinis this year, like tomorrow is the day. Like if the end day is the last time when you can do it.
Not necessarily, because this is talking about indoors, sowing them in the greenhouse.
I see.
So there may be a timing that you can sow it outdoors. But let's look at everything, and then we got basil and winter squash, sweet basil, transplanting things, thyme, oregano, chives, transplanting sage. This is talking about cuttings, harvesting flowering stem of the yucca. harvesting the root of the yucca, harvesting the seeds,
Wow.
sowing sunflowers. Yeah.
And what is that number beside it? Like oh, it's the dates.
Yeah, the
So
date.
Like 30th, like May 30th.
Yeah.
Prune.
And then on here, on the right side, it shows the start date. So this is April 15th until May 30th is for pruning salal.
Yeah.
Sowing
Okay.
seed of different plants, parsley, kale, oxeye daisy. Okay, going down. So I'll go all the way to the bottom. And then at the bottom there's some things that we can do all year round. So those are at the very bottom of the list.
Yeah. I see.
So everything
Okay.
on this document is something that we could do today. And then I think the last,
So at the top,
pardon me?
just a question about this. At the top will be like the most priority. Like this is ending right now. Like this
Yeah.
is the time to do this. And I'm getting that this is for your plot, right?
Yeah.
6411.
Yeah, this is all for here. So to make one for
Wow.
Mary Alice, then we would, like I created the new plot, so then we would add plants to that plot.
Yeah.
And I want to show you one more form that I think is really important that I need to work on. It's the plot. It's the plant. No. Plot annual cultivation practices by plant. So I put information in a database from different sources, and some sources say you should plant the beans at this time, and another source says you should plant it at this time, and I put all that information into the database, but I didn't create a field to say where I got that information from. So there's conflicting information in the database. So the version that I'm working on now is to repair that, so that each piece of information that talks about a cultivation practices will have a reference. So if you only want to look at the references that come from the Plants for a Future database, or if you only want to look at the references that come from, like Mary Alice, she has a planting calendar that she publishes on the internet. Have you seen that?
Yes. I'm not thoroughly. I glanced over it. I haven't seen the whole thing.
Okay. And then West Coast Seeds has a really good planting calendar as well. So the intention is that when I'm done the version that I'm working on now, it will allow you to choose, whose directions you want to use.
Yeah, I see.
And the question you asked earlier was about zucchini. So on this form you can choose a plant, and then for whatever plant it is that you chose, it will show all of the practices that are in the database. So for this wall lettuce plant, I haven't put any information in. The Plants for a Future database, which this is mostly based off of, has a table called species, and in that species table it has information about when the seeds ripen. Here, I'll choose a plant that actually has information. So this is, well, no, let's go to zucchini. So the Latin name for zucchini, I think it's in the Cucurbita family. Zucchini here, Cucurbita pepo. The Plants for a Future database has information about when the seed ripens, has information about whether it's self-fertile, when it blooms, hazards, grow them on. These are instructions for, I didn't label these tables, so I can't remember which one it is. Grow them on fast. I think this is cultivation practices. This one is propagation. This one is also cultivation, or like how to grow it. And then this one is edibility, the edibility of the plant. So I've been using the information from the plants for a future database to put them into a calendar. So here, one of the practices is sow seeds. So I click on this practice. This is the one that we were looking at, indoors in a rich soil, so 2 or 3 seeds per pot. Then there's another one for sowing seeds, and this one is starting January, February, March, May 15th, and it's ending June 7th. And this is in situ, so you're growing it outside. 3 seeds and thin to the best one. So this is all the information that's.
So this is really useful.
Yeah.
This is really useful if you're focusing on one plant. Let's say like okay, I wanna what is the whole cycle throughout the year of nettles, and you can like go to nettles and you see the whole process, like all the practices around it.
Yeah. So I think the best way to use the database as it is now is to go through each one of these. You know what? If you're just coming to a new place and you know there's all these plants and you have to take care of all these plants, then I would use the database and I would go through each plant one at a time. I'd look at the plant and I'd see, oh, Jonathan hasn't put any information about feijoa, so okay, what do we need to do to take care of it? So I'll look down here. Sow the seeds in spring in a greenhouse. Feijoa is a perennial, so it'll last for years and years. You don't really have to do anything. You can just leave it because it's a tree. But if it's an annual, like let's say garlic, then if you don't cultivate annuals every year, if they're strong enough to survive in this climate on their own, like kale, then even if you do nothing all year, they'll survive. But if they're not, then eventually they'll die. You know, some plants will die. Garlic will probably survive for quite a few years outside. But things like beans or zucchini, they're not strong enough to survive outside. So if we don't take care of them, they'll die. So we have to make sure that every year we sow the seeds, because if we don't sow the seeds every year, the plants won't grow, and then we won't be able to save seeds for next year.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So talking to you about this, it makes me realize that I should probably put somewhere on this table, on this form, a table that talks about the habit of the plant, whether it's annual or biennial. Because I realize some people might not know that. A lot of these plants that I'm recommending for people to grow, they might not know what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, annual or perennial?
Yeah. Annual or biennial or perennial. Biennial means it lives for 2 years. Plants like kale and a lot of the brassicas, they live for 2 years. Carrots also, they live for 2 years. So the first year they'll grow a bunch of leaves, and then the second year they'll grow the seeds and the flowers. The flowers first, and then the seeds after.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to show me about the database? Any other use cases or parts of the database that I haven't seen yet?
Not really. I think what I showed you. Oh, I showed you the report. Yeah, I think that's the most important to focus on.
You show me the daily report. Will you give a little show about the annual?
Okay.
How do you say that word? Annual.
Annual.
So I'm gonna. Okay.
Annual cultivation practices.
I it's gonna be massive.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be like a massive report?
I'm opening it now.
Let's see.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Report. Annual cultivation practices. Annual. Oh, there's also a date range. So this this report you can put in a date range, like, you know, for a week or something like that. Okay, so now I'm opening up the annual cultivation, so this will be for the whole year. It's
Wow, okay.
there's the pages, so it's 22 pages. And like you saw, there's several plants that I haven't put information into the database about them. So when those plants are in there, it'll be longer. Again, it's organized, it's sorted by the end date first, starting at the beginning of the year. And then it would go down. So today we are around here, May, what are we today?
Yeah, May 14th.
May 13th. So I would go to the May 13th here and then just see, okay, well, these are the things that if I want to do this, I have to do it right away. And then, yeah, as it goes farther down, it's a lot harder to figure out what needs to be done today using this report, because, you know, there's stuff way down at, there's just so many
yeah, this might be
there's too much information. Yeah.
Too much information. You do maybe this like once a year, and then maybe have like a folder or something, you know, backing it up. But then what I see most commonly being used is like a weekly report.
Yeah, I think weekly is good. A lot of farms do it bi-weekly, or once a week. Everyone gets together, sits around the table. So I'll show you how that report works. We go to, how does it work? I haven't done it in a while. Let's see. Plot annual cultivation practice by plant. Plot by date. Plot annual cultivation practices by date. See if it's this one. Here's where you can put in the date range. So let's say we want to see, let's say when are your, do you have regular meetings at the farm?
Usually on Mondays.
Okay. So let's see, Monday. Next Monday is going to be the 19th. So let's make a report from the 19th to the 25th. So we'll go here, 5/19. Oops. 5/19, and then 5. Did I say 28? 25. Enter. Oops. Okay, now I'll close that. Yes. Now I go to reports, date range, cultivation practices. So I double click on here. So this is showing us that everything that we can do for that date range.
Yeah, I see.
And this report is 16 pages long. So yeah, go through this and talk about, okay, what are we going to do based on this? So as you can see, it's working and it's very messy. Yeah, so for somebody,
I mean, like, it's amazing. Like, this is like really fascinating. Like, it's wow. And the part is like, it's like a custom made calendar, like gardening farming calendar for the species that you're working with for your zone too.
Yeah,
it's like a custom made, and what I get is that it still needs a bit of information about the practices for some of the plants.
yeah,
and I get like that's something that can be done. Like, you do it once, and then you get to use it for the rest of the time.
Yeah, and
So if you don't
also
have any
we can
information about
share the
that,
information too. So, you know,
yeah.
I can do some of it, and you can do some of it, and somebody else can do some more of it. So we don't have to do it all ourselves if we can figure out how to work together on it.
Okay. Do you have any of this on GitHub?
No, I have it all on Dropbox.
Okay. Okay. So maybe something like having it on GitHub might be a consideration.
Yeah, I
And
have a
GitHub
GitHub
is
account, and I've never uploaded anything to it, so I don't really know how that works. Khaled created some code for GitHub. The code that he made is for putting it's a Python program that makes it possible to upload the tables from this database into Firebase. And I guess Firebase is something that can be shared online. And that's on GitHub.
Yeah.
So the link to that is on the LANdpLAN.blogspot.com.
Super. Okay, and that's available there. Okay, in LANdpLAN. Perfect.
I wonder if you can
Well,
tell me a bit more about how I can share the database with people so that we can work on it together.
dang it. Okay, so I was telling already about GitHub. I worked with GitHub before when I was a programmer, and GitHub is essentially a platform on the cloud that you can version control your code. Here, then there is a GitHub, or the program Git IT. It merges has a way of merging the code where it's like, oh, Jorge added 3 plants over here, and then like say, Khaled added 10 plants over here, and then GitHub or the Git will like merge it together. So it's like a way of like working collaboratively at the same time, without the code becoming a mess. So like a lot of the open source software, it works with GitHub. What else? I don't know if it's the best option. I don't know anything else actually.
Okay.
So I think it'll be a great experiment. I'm gonna download the what you have on Dropbox and see how can I work with it. How can I get started? And I guess the next part, like if you want to invite a team, if you want to like have these available, like hey, this is happening here, and then like how can you invite other people to work on it, to add new plans, to create a user interface, or to create an application that it can be used by others. And then also what kind of open source license do you have? Is it free for commercial use, or is it free for free use? So they have to attribute back to the source. And so these details, I don't know how much you care about it, or how much clarity you have about how you want it. But this is like a start will be even sharing it on GitHub as a private project, and then you can invite the people there. And then if you want to open it up to the world, it's like, hey, here is what do you call this thing anyways? What do you call this database?
LANdpLAN.
LANdpLAN. Okay.
So in Dropbox, the Dropbox folder, this is what the this is what's in the Dropbox folder. This temporary one is the one. Oh, there's nothing in there. Anyways, it's the one that I'm currently working on. This .odb file, that's the one that I just showed you.
So this is already on the realm. So okay, this is how you can get started.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna be on the Dropbox. You download that into your computer, and then this is how you start using it.
Yeah. So yeah, right now you can download this folder and then install LibreOffice onto your computer. And there's a README file here that you can have a look at, because there might be some things that aren't going to work out. If you if you're on a Mac and get an error about Java, you need to have a Java runtime environment and blah blah blah. There's some other things that I've made notes about in the README file. Yeah, I don't know very much about what is it called? Copyright. My understanding is open source. I think I want it to be open source, so the only reason for having any kind of rules is to make sure that nobody can stop other people from using it. I want everybody to be able to use it and improve it, and if people want to make money off of it, that's fine too, because I'm okay with that. So yeah, I'm not sure how to say what the copyright is. I think on some of the reports it might say something like this is an open source project. On the blog, I think it explains that it's an open source project.
Super. Yeah. I don't know so much about it. I've done a little bit of research on it and look for it. Okay, yeah, this one. It's open source, and then it's like you can create own license. I'm gonna share it with you, and it's so it asks you a few questions, like if you want you want people to say what the source is, how do you want people to attribute, is this free for commercial use, and then you answer a few questions, and then it gives you like, okay, this is the kind of license that you might want.
Okay, you can share a link.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. Okay, and anyways, I can't find that right now, but I will look for it. Yeah, I have it open here, so I will look for it. See if I can find something right now, because there's just so much. Like, I'm just seeing it and like, whoa, it's a lot.
I think I'll end the call now, and then dinner is at 4, so I'm gonna walk up there for dinner, and then at the new community gardens I got the link. At the new community gardens, we're having a work party tonight, and that's at 4:30.
Okay, can I ask you? There's just one more thing that I want to share with you.
Yeah.
There is this. So we talked about GitHub, and there's research on that. But there is this other program called DeepNote that I was playing with, and I mentioned it to you last. In the Node program, you can load a database and essentially create an app based on this database. I don't know yet exactly. It's very easy you can query the database with, and then AI just essentially generates reports. So that was, and I know that there is a way of creating apps. So that was my curiosity to like, wow, I wonder if I can connect this database with DeepNote, and then play around with it.
I guess you could put the PDF file into DeepNote. The PDF report, you could put that into DeepNote, just copy paste it in.
Yeah, like stuff like that would be really cool, because then you can say like, okay, what's up for today, and then it outputs it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna play a little bit with it and see what happens.
Okay. Thanks for helping me make this video. Bye for now.
Yes. Thank you, Jonathan. Okay. Bye for now. Thank you.